agree with Jim Jordan. It's time for impeachment, not just of Merrick Garland, to move all the way up the ranks, but Merrick Garland should be job one for the Congress as soon as we get. I mean, all the facts are out there in plain sight. Look, they're trying to create charges against President Trump that aren't felonies. We have felonies in plain sight that the DOJ and Merrick Garland is not doing anything about.
The chances that Merrick Garland will prosecute them are zero, which means here's what we need to do. In Congress, the House can impeach, and I believe the House should impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, should impeach Merrick Garland, and should impeach Joe Biden. That we can do constitutionally, because Senate Democrats don't care. They could have videotape of Joe Biden taking bribes from foreign officials. They don't care. They wouldn't vote to convict.
The projection is overflowing. Representative Tenney here, along with Senator Cruz, again, are calling for the impeachment and removal of Joe Biden and the entire Biden administration. Based off of flimsy evidence, some hearings that end up in dead ends, but they're not done yet with this damning evidence.
I think the American people can see this. We have put together, whether it's through the Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan or whether the Oversight Committee under James Comer, and now with this, explosive whistleblower testimony coming out from Jason Smith, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, with oversight on the IRS. I'm on the Ways and Means Committee. It's all there. We have what we need. And it's going to come time for the Democrats to actually say, this is worse than Watergate. I mean, as I've said on numerous occasions, Richard Nixon didn't commit a crime. The people with him did. He covered it up.
Your argument is flailing when you're talking about how Richard Nixon and what he did with Watergate wasn't this bad. I mean, this bad being when we have no idea what it is exactly that they're talking about. Richard Nixon didn't do any illegal things around Watergate. People around Richard Nixon did illegal things. Why did those folks around Richard Nixon do those illegal things? For themselves or for Richard Nixon's ass? Lastly, from Representative Tenney, though, she pointed out that Jim Jordan and James Comer's investigations are revealing everything. You sure about that?
With respect to the tapes, look, it mentioned in the FBI form that the oligarch had 17 tapes of Biden, 2 with Joe Biden, accepting the bribe, that he used that as an insurance policy.
This oligarch is was a high-ranking member or owner of Burisma?
Yes, that is exactly right. So
have you had any contact with him?
Unfortunately, nobody's had any contact with him for the last 3 years.
If indeed these 17 audio tapes exist, it would be in effect really a smoking gun for the big guy. Senator, do you think they exist? And if yes, how to obtain them?
We don't know. And, Senator Grassley has never said they exist.
So these recordings are legit. You can confirm they are legitimate.
Well, I can confirm they were listed in the 1023 that the FBI redacted. We don't know if they're legit or not.
Republicans appear to believe that their followers, supporters, and voters won't pay any attention to what it is that they're saying about evidence, but actually what they're alleging every time they go on TV and go for cushy interviews, no matter how embarrassing they look when they do. But speaking of embarrassing, Rudy Giuliani found a way to also chime in on this in the only way Rudy Giuliani can.
I don't imagine they can go back in history and figure out new facts about past presidents, but unless something magical happens, you will be, without any doubt, the most crooked president in American history. I mean, there won't even be anybody like in your league. We're not going to be able to discuss another president with you. We don't have a president that was taking bribes for 30 years. We don't have a president that was taking bribes from our enemies. If we do, we never found out about it.
The projection continues. We don't have a president that's been taking bribes like this guy's been for the last 30 years. Or maybe we'll go back every once in a while. I don't think we'll be able to find a previous president that took bribes, did illegal activities, and was this crooked. They'll push it as hard as they can just to get you to forget things like this.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Just find me 11,000 more votes so that I can win the election that to this day I still say that I won. No, but that's not it. Just in case you forgot. Remember that other perfect call with President Zelensky? back during the 2020 election when Donald Trump wanted to get some dirt on the Bidens.
Congratulating Zelensky for his election victory, and midway through the call says this, quote, "I would like to ask you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it." And then there's one reference to Biden in this call. Trump says this. He says, "I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good and was shut down, which is really unfair." And then he says, quote, "There's a lot of talk about Biden's son, what Biden stopped the prosecution. And a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great."
So for anyone paying attention to the process of how this is going, it looks like this has nothing to do with prosecution or actually getting to the facts and finding criminals and crooked people within our government systems. What it's actually about is politics. Of course, it's the primary season for the presidential election and Donald Trump is a part of it. So I think Ted Cruz finally revealed the reality of this situation.
What we can do is every person here can educate and inform and help people know about the corruption and illegality, and we can hold people to account politically. And then we've got to throw the bums out of the executive branch and get a new administration that will enforce the law and prosecute the criminals.
And there is the game. Ted Cruz talking about we're not looking to do anything as far as getting to the bottom of these cases. We need you guys to come in and actually vote differently so we can get other administrations in so we can continue to destroy America based off of absolutely nothing that American citizens want. Where's the talk about inflation, education, healthcare, schools, jobs? As you can see, the wording that's used by all these Republicans is to talk about how things look, how things can be inferred, how much they can try to convince people of something that isn't necessarily there. Again, if it is, we should see it soon.